you guys. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. This is actually my very first ever YouTube video, so I'm really excited. But pretty much what we're going to be doing today is showing you guys how I created this unit. Now, as far as this unit, I'm using 3 bundles in the frontal. So I have in 16, 14, 12-inch bundles, and then I have a 10-inch frontal in. Now, this texture is a deep wave texture. I did kind of brush it out a little bit so it's a little fluffy or whatever, but this is pretty much what the hair looks like straight out the pack. I didn't really put any product or anything in it. I just sprayed some water on it. So yeah, this is pretty much. So yeah, so if you guys are interested in learning how I created this unit, just feel free to keep on watching. And also, if you guys have any other tutorials you would like to see, please leave those in the comments. This is my first video, so don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, people.
Motherfucking hook. My flow is just like Parkinson's, I leave a nigga shook.
Now, like I mentioned before, this is the deep wave texture. I used 2 full bundles, and then I used partial amount of the 3rd bundle. So if you really don't need it, if you don't want to, I just like that fullness. And this is the 13 by 4-inch frontal that I used as well.
Hit it till my bag hurt, I'm getting old. Top spot, if they asking what I'm on.
This is hair from me and my boyfriend's collection. We're gonna have coming out pretty soon. So if you do like the hair, you're interested in purchasing the hair, then feel free to leave me a message and I'll get back to you. Alright, now let's get into these tools. First, you're going to need a dome cap. I recommend you getting a mesh dome cap because it's more breathable. You're also going to need a spool of thread, some shears, an applicator brush, a rat tail comb. I recommend the metal tip kind. A pair of tweezers. I recommend flat tip or the angled. You're going to need a mixing bowl. You're also going to need some T-pins, some needles. I recommend get about 8 or 10. Some foil, and lastly a spray bottle. You're also going to need some lightener. I have the BW2 right here, some 40 volume developer. Now I actually ran out of this, so I ended up using a different brand in the video, but you can find all of these products at your local beauty supply. It's fairly cheap as well.
Yeah, Picasso got 2 S's when you spell it, yeah. It's that OG floating around when you smell it, yeah. Yeah, let's shot.
Now, I don't ever measure anything, but I'm using about 2 parts lightener to 1 part developer. You want to make your consistency kind of thick. I say a little bit thicker than cake batter. So you just play around with it until it gets kind of like this. Now we're just going to take that lightener and apply it all over our lace frontal. Now make sure you don't press the product into the frontal. You just kind of want to smear it on. I say like your butter and toast pretty much. Just get that all over the frontal and make sure you get the very edges where your baby hairs would be as well.
Play with G Willie.
We just getting geeked, I'm in the mode. Never will I go against the code. Hit it till my bag hurt, I'm getting old. Top spot, if they asking what I'm on, what I'm talking about.
Look, I got Ralph Lauren on my clothes, yeah. Star High game, my motherfucking bros, yeah. I would never turn my back against my woes, yeah. And I'm never worried about no hoes, yeah.
Now she bad, but I just can't propose yet. I'm still out here working for my own, yeah. Futuristic with the clothes and the flows, yeah. And we back.
Now once we get that all on the frontal, you're going to lay down a sheet of foil, put the frontal on, lightener facing up, and then put a second sheet of foil on top of that and crease the edges. Make sure you leave a little space so the air can get in there. The foil just helps the lightener develop a little bit quicker. So we're going to leave that on for about 10-15 minutes. I only left mine on for about 5 because I used a super fast lightener. And then you're just going to rinse that out and tone it, or you can use some Shimmer Light shampoo and that'll tone it for you. And once you do that, that just gets rid of any of the brassy colors or any of that orangish, yellowish looking tone. And you should be left with a very natural looking frontal.
When you spell it, yeah. It's that OG floating around when you smell it, yeah.
Now you will need a canvas head the same circumference as your head. Mine is 22 inches. I purchased it at my local beauty supply. So you're going to put the dome cap on the canvas head and then go ahead and line up your frontal, making sure that the back is straight across. Now the front is not going to fit perfectly on, and you're going to make sure that it's about an inch further up than the actual cap. Now once you've gotten that all situated, you're just gonna go ahead and start to sew the frontal down from ear tab to ear tab. Now with this, I go ahead and pre-thread my needles. That's why I recommend that you get about 10. I go ahead and thread my needles before I start. It speeds up the process tremendously. Trust me, you'll thank me later.
We just on a vibe right now. You can bring her another margarita. She can be mine right now. Call baby my little mama cedar. You can give me face right now, but that don't mean that I'm gonna leave. What the fuck do you want? Baby so bad, got me thinking about.
Now if you already know how to sew, then you can just pretty much fast forward through this part. I just kind of left this in here for the people that don't really know how to sew, so you can kind of watch and get a gist of what I'm doing.
That don't mean that I'm gonna leave. What the fuck do you want?
The fuck do you want from me, bitch? Yeah. Fuck this shit, I'm on the medicine, yeah. I'm on the cushion for heavenly, yeah. I'm on the cushion for heavenly, yeah. I'm too half of this shit, yeah. No, I'm too half of this shit, yeah. Man, I'm too half of this shit, yeah. Man, I'm too half of this shit, yeah. Mary Jane, my mama cedar. I'm mixing up like Catalina. I fuck her once, I gotta leave her. I'm dropping ball like Hiroshima. I'm buy my bread like new fajitas. Young nigga trapping out the iPhone. Smoke too much cause I ain't gon' be high long. I'm in the well like a cyclone. I'm a Martian, a motherfucking UFO. You too missing, can't fuck with no group of hoe. I'm about to pass out in the studio. I'm about to pass out off the stupid dope.
I'm way too high, might be in a beamer. Dope. My goon don't care, might be in a steamer. Ho. He just don't care and he got that heater. Blow. Yo ass off, nigga get stoned like a beater. Bro. Go cool for the.
Now you're just gonna continue to sew all the way down. Like I said, ear tab to ear tab. Once we finish that, we're going to sew our first track from that first ear tab all the way around the bottom to that second ear tab in a kind of a U shape. Now you're going to want to start with your longest bundle, mine being 16 inches. Now for me, I double my tracks so it makes my hair a little bit thicker. You don't have to, I do recommend it though. So you're just going to, layer your tracks and just go ahead and get started.
Damn. Pulled up drip right now with a real bad senorita. We just on a vibe right now. You can bring her another margarita. She can be mine right now. Call baby my little mama cedar. You can give me face right now, but that don't mean that I'm gonna leave. What the fuck do you want? Baby so bad, got me thinking about getting tuxedo. I go out of town next week, but that don't mean that I'm gonna leave her. I be on my grind right now, but it's gonna go down when I see you. We can have sex right now, but that don't mean that I'm gonna leave her. The fuck do you want?
The fuck do you want from me, bitch? Yeah. Fuck this shit, I'm on the medicine, yeah. I'm on the cushion for heavenly, yeah. I'm on the cushion for heavenly, yeah. I'm too half of this shit, yeah. No, I'm too half of this shit, yeah. Man, I'm too half of this shit, yeah. Man, I'm too half of this shit, yeah. Mary Jane, my mama cedar. I'm mixing up like Catalina. I fuck her once, I gotta leave her. I'm dropping ball like Hiroshima. Buy my bread like new fajitas, yeah.
And once you get about halfway up using this U shape, we're going to start going straight across. For my first couple tracks, I'll still double, and then after that, I single them. You don't want it too bulky near the top of your head, so I space them closer together and single my tracks.
I might be in a beamer. Dope. My goon don't care, might be in a steamer. Ho. He just don't care and he got that heater. Blow. Yo ass off, nigga, get stoned like.
As far as ending your tracks, you could do the flip over method, or you can cut them if you like. I prefer to cut mine just because I don't like that bulky look on the end, and it really doesn't bother me to cut them because once I make a wig, I'm probably not going to reuse the hair, but that's completely up to your discretion. For your last track, you want to make sure that you get it as close to your frontal as possible without stacking them on top of each other. Now, I don't make mine touch because I feel like it makes it bulky for some reason.
Straight. They like what you smoking, this from over. Straight.
Now go ahead and cut that extra piece of cap that's under your frontal, but make sure you don't cut too close to the frontal because you don't want to cut and make the thread come loose.
Y'all, that ain't what I need. They like what you smoking, this from overseas. Straight.
Now I'm going to spray my frontal with some water, and then I'm just going to part about 1 inch back from the front, and then take my tweezers and just start plucking sporadically. Then just comb that extra hair out, part it, and repeat the process. And I do this across the entire front of the frontal.
And she love to eat the kid like she a toddler. And I get it when I need it, no problem. I'm talking gas in the ass off the whopper. I need the cap in the gown, no scholar. White rush, you can smell it on my collar. The horse on my collar, my wrist in the water, my game was.
And lastly, I'm just going in with my spray bottle and just spraying the rest of the hair and just combing out any strays that are left behind. Since I did cut my tracks, it will shed just a bit from me cutting them. But this is what the texture of the hair looks like when I'm all done.
Big P like Prada, nigga, exotic weed, this Zaza, nigga.
Doing straight weed, but they say I'm doing drugs. Just left the trap fucked, I smoked out my bud. I'm back to Rio, got big love for my plug. Don't give me that bitch, come give me a hug.